Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be installing the Michelin Power 5s on my 2020 Street Triple RS. But first, we got to take the tires off the bike and the wheels. And here are the new Power 5s that I'm getting put on. So first, we're going to be using, I don't know, HW8 Allen wrench. We're going to take the calipers off first and then hang them. I'm going to use a breaker bar to get that off of there. Yeah, let's show you some of the tools that we'll be using today. So we're going to be using a 27 millimeter socket, and we're going to be using the tool to loosen the front for the front wheel up. So that's what we're going to be using to get this off, this front wheel. But first we got to take the calipers off and the rear wheel. Alright, so now we're going to loosen the rear wheel's nut. A little bit of force. Finally got it loose. We can get this off. And the washer. Okay. So we got it far enough out of here. We'll move this out of the way so that this can go forward. Hold the rim up. There we go, guys. Rear wheel is off. And you can just do this so the rear brake isn't just hanging around. Man, my hands are dirty. Alright, rear wheel's off. So now we'll go to the front. Alright, so now to get the front wheel off, in case you don't know. So usually, like if you have a 1 liter bike, like I had a 2015 R1, it'll have 2 pinch bolts here, and then on the other side 2 more, but this one only has 2. So we're going to loosen the pinch bolts just a little bit, and then we're going to take the calipers off, just to get the front wheel's a little bit harder to get off. So we're going to loosen the pinch bolts just a little bit. Just a few turns. You don't have to go crazy and completely take them out. Alright, so now we're going to get the calipers off first before we get the rest of the wheel off. So one of the things you want to do when you're taking the calipers off of the front wheel, to take off the front wheel, you want to make sure you have something to hold the caliper up, so all the weight's not on the caliper's brake line, and especially like rubber lines, but lucky this one has steel braided brake lines. I'll show you right now. Alright, so now the top bolt's loose, and we'll go to the bottom one. Okay, so now both bolts are loose. And the reason you have to take the calipers out is because they would clash with the rim when you're trying to take them out. And that way I have it, see, bolted onto the front stand from paddock stand. Alright, so now we got this side loose, and I don't have another bungee cord, so this side we're going to use a zip tie. Just be careful when you're taking it out. And you gotta be careful with this one because it's got the ABS wire connected to it. Oh, they have this wire running all the way down there. So, let's see. just so this doesn't interfere a lot. There we go. So at least now the ABS wire won't be loose everywhere. This one's pretty easy because you don't have a nut on the back side, so as soon as the axle comes out, the wheel's gonna fall down, so just gotta hold it, so just pull it out. There we go. And that goes out. And so this is what it looks like when a Street Triple 2020 Street Triple has no tires on it. Rims are out. So we're gonna get these bad boys put. Biggest pain in the ass with the putting the rear wheel in is the chain. You have to move the chain over and then getting it in between the brake pads. Alright, so we're gonna be on our way now to get these tires mounted. Alright, so now we're back and the tires are installed on the rims and we're going to install them. We're going to do the rear one first. And you see that the Michelin tire is now on the rear rim and the front.
Hi!
Hello, mate.
I just got back from the store and I got some ice cream.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to clean the bike real quick before I do anything. That's dirty, this thing. Alright, so now we're going to install the rim. We're going to get some grease to grease up the axle. Alright, so slowly I'm going to bring the rim in. So this is usually the problem we run into down here. Alright, so the chain's in. So the problem is going to be this part. So we got to lift the tires up. And you got to have some strength for this part. So what I do is I lift it up and I use my foot. Keep it up as high as I can. Sucks the most. Oh, well, wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but we still got to get one more axle block. So the axle blocks are in. This is probably the easiest rear tire I have installed. Of all of them. And I had a Yamaha R1. That one was the biggest pain in my ass ever.
Why?
Hated changing the tire on that bike.
Hi. Again. You can hear me better because Dad has a microphone.
I'm just talking to you.
Yes, they are. I know you can't see me, but I know you could hear me. Well, tomorrow I'm going to go skating. And I'm so excited. Hi.
So hand tighten it.
Okay.
Stop it, Jocelyn. It's my channel. I'm not punching your head. You can talk when I'm done, not yet.
Okay. You said not to talk while you're doing this video.
So we're going to have to pull the instruction book out and see how many foot-pounds of torque we got to torque the axle. Definitely you don't want to just tighten it and not be enough torque. Alright, so the owner's manual, the rear wheel spindle nut, it says 81 foot-pounds of torque or 110 Newton meters. So now we'll get our torque wrench out and we'll torque it down. Okay, so we have it set at 81 foot-pounds of torque. Why am I having so much trouble saying 81 foot-pounds of torque? Alright, so now we'll tighten it down. all good. It's rolling straight, so no issues. Don't you just love when everything goes according to plan? You're just waiting for the next shoe to fall. Alright, now we're going to the front wheel. Alright, look how pretty this Michelin, the name Michelin over the tire. And probably some of you are probably like, why is he so excited to go from a Pirelli Super Corsa to a Michelin Power 5? I love Michelins. I mean, you get about 4,000 miles out of them. The Pirelli tires are good, but I mean, 1,500 miles and they were basically almost bald. I'm like, I'm not a track person, so I'm good with Michelins. There, we're installing the front axle with the new front tire on it. Usually the front tire is a lot easier to install, and for some reason this time the front tire was a little bit harder than the rear. Told you, I always wait for something to drop. And we gotta put the calipers back on, but at least everything's starting to get started. So I'm just tightening it down right now. But I can't find any information on how many foot-pounds of torque this front axle needs, so I'm gonna tighten it down and just have to see if I can find any information on the internet. It's weird that I can't find any information in the owner's manual. Gotta tighten the pinch bolts now. Just tighten it down for now, and then I'll look for information. These tires look so good on this bike. So now we just gotta put the calipers back together and pretty much done. And then we'll have to take it out for a test ride. And we'll have to test out these new Michelin Power 5s. Carefully put it back together. Let the top one started at least. Get the bottom one greased. Just tighten down. Like I said, I'll have to look for, I can't find anywhere where it says what the torque settings are for the front axle or for these brake calipers. Alright, now we'll go to the other side. This is the one with the ABS on this side. And carefully set this one. There we go. So now we're going to check the tire pressure. There's the tire pressure with my expensive Motion Pro. This thing is supposed to be accurate. We'll see how accurate it is. Let's see how accurate this thing is. My friend Tom put it at 35. Good enough for me. Now we're gonna go check the rear. We'll check the tire pressure on the rear. So it's saying cold tire pressure for the front is at 34 pounds. And the rear is a 42 pounds. So 40 is good enough. I don't carry passengers. One of my favorite countries made this tire, made in Spain. So you know it's good. Now we're gonna take the bike out and we're gonna see how these Michelin Power 5s hold up. Because I've had the Power RSs and I know how they hold up and they're really good tires. All right, see you on the bike. Yeah, these Michelin Power 5s right off the bat are pretty sticky. I mean, not as sticky as the Super Corsas, obviously, but they are pretty sticky, and they're really good at wet weather, which I'm not riding in wet weather right now, but I mean, I would definitely recommend them, especially if you have the street. If you want a good pair of sticky tires that last more than 1,500 miles. So you don't have to keep buying a new set of tires every year, or maybe you're one of those riders that rides for 4,000 plus miles a year. These are definitely a good pair, unless you want to go with the Bridgestone S21s or 22s, which last like 8,000 to 10,000 miles. But these are really good tires. They're real sticky. I'm still breaking them in. Yeah, so if you're a fan of Michelin tires and you've had the Michelin Power RS tires, which I've had them on the 2015 Yamaha R1 that I used to have. They're pretty much on par with the Power RSs, but they're very sticky. Like I'm taking the turns and the twisties, and I slid once. That was about it, but it was my fault because I gave it gas on purpose just to see what it would feel like. So they're definitely good at inspiring your confidence for going fast around the twisties. So far, so good. It's only slid once and 20 miles of breaking in. So I would highly recommend them, guys. Hopefully you guys like this video, and thanks for watching. What was that? Yeah, right. Alright, so the instruction manual, it says rear wheel spindle nut. It's 80 foot wood.